We recap the NBA and the NHL. We bring back a couple of favorite segments from our Spotify days. I will tell you why I believe Messi is not into the MLS. And our Spurs curses for real. All this and more on our show, which starts now. All right. This is Bloodline Sports. Anything and everything sports talk between family. After all, it's all relative. All right, man. Let's get started.
All right. We got a jam-packed show today.
Yep.
We're going to talk about a lot of things. Going to bring back some old things. Going to introduce some new things.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, let's just get right into it.
All right. So why don't we just go ahead and start and get into it with this? All right. So we know this is your favorite song, but this is also our introduction to our segment, which is the NHL. And we are going to talk about what's going on in the NHL right now. So let's get started, my friend.
All right.
So last night, our Dallas Stars tied the series at 1-1.
Yes, they did.
And they lost the first game, and you freaked out.
I didn't.
And I said,
well, I didn't freak out.
Well, but you weren't happy about it.
Oh, no.
And I said, not to worry. It's a good omen.
Ugh.
We've lost the first game in every series so far. And here we are. We're going after Lord Stanley's Cup.
Maybe.
I believe that. I believe it. So they lost game 1 in double overtime.
Yep.
And last night they came back. They were leading 2-1. And then in the last few seconds, the Oilers decided to pull the goalie, and we get an empty netter.
Ooh.
So the Stars win 3-1.
Yep.
And now are tied 1-1 in that series. So I feel confident that we are going to the NHL Finals.
Yeah, I would say so, probably.
Yep.
I don't know, because like the Oilers are a good team.
Yep.
After all, they do have what's his name? Their really good player, the Edmonton.
Kane?
No. His name's what's his name?
Well, while you look that up, yes. So the Edmonton Oilers came in and they led the first game, and then they were up 2-1. The Stars came back and tied that 2-2.
Yes.
Went through the first overtime. They did not get a score. And then in the second double overtime, or the second overtime, which means they went into double overtime, the Oilers score and they take game 1.
The goal was scored by the player, I remember now, Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid. Yep. He is probably their best player, and he did score in that double overtime.
Yeah.
And they won the game, and they were up 1-0. And I was like, all right, this is a good omen. Good omen. We dropped the other first game, just like we did against the Las Vegas Knights and
the Colorado
Avalanche. And then what happened after that first game that we dropped?
Well,
we dominated.
Well, in the first series, the Knights won game 2 as well.
Yeah, well, they did. And then the Stars were down 2-0, but we came back.
Yep.
And beat them in 7. And then against the Avalanche, we were down 1-0, and then we came back.
Yep.
And ruled that series. So good omen. We dropped the first game. I believe we're going after Lord Stanley's Cup.
Yeah.
So, and then on the Eastern Conference Finals,
that has also been tied up by the Rangers.
Yes. The first game, the Panthers skunked them 3-0. And then the Rangers
beat them in overtime.
Overtime the second game.
Yes.
So are they tied 1-1 too?
Yep.
Okay.
They are actually fixing to play here in a few hours.
All right. And then so that game will be in Florida, where the Panthers are tough.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. The Florida Panthers have been given a run to the Rangers, which I didn't think they were going to do.
Oh, no, I knew it. They've really started to build up this reputation of being, as you like to say, the buzzsaw team in the playoffs.
Buzzsaw. Yep. So they've been keeping up with the Rangers. They beat them 3-0 in the first game.
Yep.
Took them in overtime the second game. So I said Rangers in 7. You said Rangers in 6 or 7.
Yep.
I said Stars in 6. And you said Stars 6 or 7.
Yep.
So right now they are tied 1-1. And seems to me like our prediction of Rangers and Stars is still alive.
Yep, definitely.
It's still alive. So we'll see what happens. Rangers and Panthers playing in a few hours. We'll see what happened with that. So NHL rolling, and we are getting close to the NHL finals to see who will be the lucky team to race Lord Stanley's Cup.
Yep.
I'm excited. I'm excited because our Stars are still in it.
Yeah. There's also another finals that are fast approaching.
Yep.
Which I'm excited about because my team is still in that too.
All right. And I know exactly what you're talking about. So let's go and get into it. The NBA on NBC. Yes, Marv Albert. I love doing that.
Oh, yeah. So it's looking really good in Dallas right now.
It's looking really good in Dallas right now.
Have snuck out both games from the Timberwolves. Yep. Best part about it, their next game, which is tonight, is in Dallas.
It is. It is in Dallas.
Yep, they are leading the series 2-0.
Yep.
Which I'm very excited about. I was really hoping they would sneak out the first two because that always gives your team a big advantage if you can get those first two right away.
Yep.
So yeah, the first game, I know both games were really close. The first game, I would have to say it wasn't as close as the second game, since the second game came down to the wire.
Yep.
Because Luka had to hit a 3-pointer.
Yes, he did.
3 seconds left to win game 2.
3 seconds left, and he did it over Rudy Gobert.
Yes. And in that game, the Mavericks were down 15 at one point at least.
Yeah, they were. They were down 15, came back.
Yeah.
They were down a little bit in the first game, if I remember right, and came back and won that.
They only won that game by like 1 point.
Well, I think both games have been by 1 point, if I remember right.
Yes.
So,
but either way, Dallas still gets the win.
What was the score in the first game?
First game was 108 to 105.
108, 105 was a 4 point,
The second game was 109 to 108.
Yep, 1 point, and that was because Luka Doncic hit a 3 over Rudy Gobert.
Yes.
To win game 2, and Dallas heads to Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
The Mavericks head to Dallas with a 2-0 lead.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
Your team is looking good to make a run. Yep. And I believe, if I remember right, you said that the Mavericks were going to win this series in, was it 5 or 6 games?
I think I may have gone a little overconfident at 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think you did. I said it was going to go 7 games with the Mavericks winning that series.
Yep. Well, right now, it looks like my prediction's going pretty well.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the Mavericks are up 2 games to nothing.
Yes.
And then on the Eastern Conference side, this guy has been a Galileo or whatever you call, what's that guy that
Nostradamus.
Nostradamus. You looked at me like I was crazy when I told you that I believe the Celtics were going to sweep the Pacers. And my friend, what is that series standing at?
3-0.
3-0 Celtics.
But you never know. The Pacers could always pull a Red Sox.
They could.
It's probably not going to happen, but they could.
They could pull it. And Boston won the first 2 games in Boston.
Yep.
And then last night, they eked out a win in Indiana.
Yes.
Which came down to the last second.
114 to 111.
114 to 111. The Pacers had a chance to tie it. And the 3-point shot from the corner almost went in. Almost went in to tie it up and go into overtime. It did not.
Nope.
It did not. So that series now stands at 3-0
for the Celtics. With
Nostradamus juice still in play for a sweep, like I called.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Well, we said it was going to be the Mavericks and the Celtics in the finals. It's looking like it's going to be. We'll see, because
as much as I would rather it be the Mavericks and the Pacers in the finals.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty much like it's going to be the Celtics.
Yeah, I knew the Celtics were going to be hard to beat. So
yeah, they've been like that for a few years.
You never know, though. I mean, the Timberwolves could still come back.
Yeah, hopefully
the Timberwolves still come back, but 2 up, 2-0 usually is a good omen.
Yep.
Unless you're the Dallas Stars. Unless you're the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
So great games going on in the NBA. I believe the Mavericks play later on today.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. So we'll have to be probably flipping the channels back and forth between that and the Panthers and the Rangers to see what's going on in that game as well.
Yep.
All right, man.
Looks like Texas is still in their quest to be Sports City of the Year.
Yeah,
Sports Dynasty, whatever you want to call it.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
We talked about how the Rangers won the World Series last year, and how cities have had that run of like Tampa Bay, Boston,
a
few years ago, where they won the World Series, the Super Bowl, and they didn't win the World Series.
The Dodgers won the World Series.
The Dodgers won the World Series.
The Rays made it to the World Series.
Yes, so
and then Tampa Bay won the Stanley Cup.
The Super Bowl, and then they got to the World Series Finals, where it was the Rays against our Dodgers, and the Dodgers won.
In 6.
Dodgers in 6. So good things happening in the sports world.
Oh yeah,
excited. Stars still in.
Mavs
looking
still
good.
In.
Mavs still in.
That Mavs is looking amazing right now.
Yes, Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving are doing a good job.
I knew the Mavericks were making a good move whenever they traded for Kyrie.
A
few years ago.
So great things in Dallas right now.
Yes.
All right, man. So that was the recap of the NBA and the NHL. We will be watching those games tonight to see what happens between the Mavs and the Timberwolves, and what happens between the Rangers and the Florida Panthers in the NHL as well. So one thing that we wanted to do, now that we've changed our format and now that we're in YouTube, we had a little success with some of the segments that we were doing over on Spotify. And so we wanted to bring some of those back. So why don't we just go ahead and start with this, my friend? You remember this one?
Oh, yeah.
Time to play the game, baby. Time to play the game. All right. So this is a segment where we like to play a game, which is a trivial game. Usually either I ask a question and you have to answer it, or you ask the question and I have to answer it. And since this is the first time we're going to do this, Dad gets to go first and ask the question.
This is actually the second time this season we've done this.
Have we?
Yeah, we did this all the way back in like the second or third episode.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been a few episodes. And I'm getting older, so my mind kind of slips a little bit. All right, my friend. So you ready?
Yep.
All right. So my question for you today has to do in the NFL.
What is it? Name that sports team, or name that sports?
No. This is name that sports figure. Name that sports figure.
Okay. So this is going to be tough.
This is going to be tough. This is where you are going to try to guess and see if you can guess the person that I am talking about.
All
right. So this person is going into the Hall of Fame this year.
Ooh.
He played for a team in the North, NFC North, known as the Black Blue Division. He had a historical moment in a Super Bowl.
I know who this is already.
You know who this is already.
Yes, all right. I do.
Who is it?
Devin Hester.
It is Devin Hester. All right, my friend.
The moment you said he was going to the Hall of Fame and then mentioned him in the NFC North, I was already starting to kind of think Devin Hester. And then when you said he had a historical moment in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And you say that because he returned the opening kickoff of Super Bowl 40 or 41.
Right. And he's the only man to return a opening kick in the Super Bowl for a touchdown.
God, it sucks a lot that they ended up losing that game.
I mean, they were dominating the Colts, but they got away from the run, and then horrible quarterback play by Rex Grossman did them in.
Yeah.
But I was reading an article where Devin Hester was talking about how him and Reggie Wayne went out clubbing after the Super Bowl and were talking, and Reggie Wayne said, "Man, I kept telling the team, don't kick the Devin. Don't kick the Devin." And on the other side, the special teams coach of the Chicago Bears said, "They're going to kick to us. So get ready. They're going to kick to us because it's a Super Bowl and they're going to do the kickoff. Devin, get ready." And Devin got ready, and Devin ran it back, and now he is going to the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So great memory. I remember that. I was thinking, I believe this guy's probably going to run it back. I mean, I'm not the only one. There was a lot of people who believe that if the Colts kicked to Devin Hester, he was going to run that kick back for a touchdown.
Yeah, that must have been pretty crazy seeing him run it back.
It was. What year was the Super Bowl that year.
I believe
Super
it was
Bowl 40.
2006.
Yeah, that was before you were born, right?
Yeah,
if I remember right.
That was a few years before.
Yep.
Yep, 2000. Oh no, yeah, 2000, or was it 2007?
I don't remember, but
It was in the year 2007.
It was in the year 2007.
Yes, the
Okay.
Colts took down the Bears 29-17.
Yep, they did.
Yep, and it was for the 2006 season.
Yep, and that was the Super Bowl where Peyton Manning won his first Super Bowl.
Yes.
Good thing to see that. Peyton Manning, a great quarterback, but I was rooting for the Bears.
You were you really?
The Bears.
Were you really rooting for the Bears?
I was. There's a reason why, though.
Why? Why were you rooting for the Bears?
Because I was playing fantasy football at that time, and I still had Devin. I had Devin Hester as my returner.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So,
you must have been pretty happy about what hit that kickoff return he had.
I was. Yep. So, good times. But in the end, the Colts ended up winning. Good to see Peyton Manning get a ring.
Yes.
Which he got a ring later on.
In
Super Bowl 50, 10 years later.
In his last game.
In his last game, that's right.
Yes.
So, 10 years apart, but he got 2 rings, just like Dumbledore. Eli Manning. I'm Eli Manning.
You know, if it weren't for the Manning brothers, Tom Brady possibly could have won like 10 Super Bowls in his career.
Yep.
So, I'd like to thank Peyton and Eli Manning for preventing us from going through less painful of a dynasty. Yep. If it weren't for them, Tom Brady wouldn't have. If it weren't for them, Tom Brady would have more Super Bowls.
Yep.
He would have had an undefeated season.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I just got to thank the Manning brothers.
Yeah. All right. So, okay, man. So that is our segment, The Game.
Yes.
You got it right. So
within seconds, pretty much.
Within seconds, yeah. So good job on that. So, who went first in the first time that we did that this year?
I did.
You did? Did you get that one right too?
Yeah. So it was you talking about the Astros.
The Astros. Okay. So you are now 2-0.
Yes.
All right. So Dad's got some catching up to do with you. So next time we play The Game, we will have the Dossman ask the Juice.
Yes.
The question. All right. All right, man. So one of the things that I talked about in our show intro is that I believe, Lionel Messi is not into the MLS. And I will tell you why. Ever since this guy came into the league, I told you, my feelings was that the only reason why he came to the MLS was because he was chasing the money.
No.
He was going into his twilight of his career. And he wanted to make more money.
Saudi Arabia offered him $1 billion and he didn't take it. Okay. If he wanted money, he would have gone to Saudi Arabia.
Right. But Saudi Arabia is hot. And he had just played the World Cup there and he talked about how miserable it was. So.
Well, yeah, but he probably would have gone if he wanted money. I don't think he wanted money. So. I think he's just getting ready to retire.
I think he's getting ready to retire. And he knew that if he went to Saudi Arabia, he didn't want to go there because my theory is he did not want to follow Ronaldo.
No.
Right? That's my theory. Where did Ronaldo go?
Saudi Arabia. He was like the first big player to go to Saudi Arabia.
And he is Messi's arch nemesis. So he said, I will go to the MLS instead. Yeah. Why? The talent is not as good, according to him. He has admitted that the league in the MLS league, the play is not up to the level.
Oh yeah, definitely
of French League One.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, no.
The other thing, the thing that's causing the stir, and this is why I say he's not into the MLS. Messi has taken a lot of days off.
Well, he's been injured a lot recently.
Oh, no, my friend. When you're injured, you're injured. When you come out and you say that you're injured for one game and you come out and you play the next game, this is a million player that the team is not going to take a chance to let him get hurt again. It was a rest day. It wasn't an injury. And I know you don't like the fact that I'm saying that. He is taking time off.
Oh, yeah. Probably getting ready for Copa America this year, Argentina.
And the knock is that because of the MLS schedule, because they have to play 2 games during the week,
oh, God.
That is why he's resting.
Yeah. So, no, it's just a matter of him getting ready for his last Copa America.
I think so. I think he's on his way out.
Yeah,
I think that's why he's not into the MLS.
No, I think he just wants to try to win maybe one trophy with Miami and then leave.
Well, he already won.
Yeah, true.
He won the
Well,
CONCACAF.
like win the league once.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but it's not happening because Busquets and Messi and what's the other one? The biter, the
Suarez and
Suarez
Jordi Alba.
and Jordi Alba all sit down on the same day. They all sit down on the same day.
Yeah, but that's when they're sitting down.
They all take the day off.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so the reason I bring this up is because there's been controversy because a lot of people in Vancouver paid a lot of money for tickets to watch Messi play. He didn't go. He didn't go. Suarez didn't go. Busquets didn't go. And Jordi Alba didn't go. They all stayed back in Miami. Now, you as a fan, let me ask you this. If Messi was playing FC Dallas in Frisco and you bought tickets to go watch Messi, and then you find out Messi's not going to play because he's taking a rest day, how would you feel?
Well, if he was at the stadium, I would stay. But if he's staying in Miami, I don't know. This is tough. But I could also stay because of all the other players that were with him when he was at Barcelona and all that.
Yeah.
All right. If they're playing, then I'll stay, obviously.
Right.
But if they're like all take the day off at the same time, I don't know. Probably still stay anyways.
Yeah, but I said, how would it make you feel? Not, are you going to stay or not? You'd probably be mad.
Well, yeah, it was like whenever we went to Raw 2017.
Yeah.
And my mom literally told me the reason why she wanted to take me was so I could see John Cena, and he didn't even show up that night.
He didn't show up.
Because it was like right after he started taking
time off for Hollywood.
Yep, after WrestleMania that year.
That's right. So, anyways.
So, yeah, I'd be mad, but look, it's still a game nonetheless.
It is, but look, I like Messi. You like Messi, I like Messi. We liked him both when he was in Barcelona. Let's be real, though. He's not into the MLS. He's not. I just don't get the feeling that he's into the MLS. I think he's coming here. He thinks that he's going to win a championship and people will be happy about that. I just think this is his last stop before he retires and he goes on, which is what a lot of people have done.
I don't know. He may return to Barcelona for like one final game there.
I don't see that happening. So, but that is my take. That's why I believe that Messi is not into the MLS. You have your chance to rebut that, and you have. So, nothing against Messi. I like him. I just don't think he's into the MLS. So, I was a little shocked and surprised that he would come out and say, hey, the talent level is not up to French League One. I mean, I get it.
Well, yeah,
you cannot compare the MLS to French League One, and you cannot compare it to some of the other leagues, the Spanish league and all that.
Even for Liga MX.
Right. But you got to have a little respect. Don't say that. I mean, you're in the MLS right now. I mean, at least go, yeah, man, MLS is great. You know, the talent of the MLS is great. That's why I'm here. Don't say it's not up to the level of other leagues. That does not make you look good. So that's just my 2 cents on that. So I don't know. Anything else on Messi that you can think of? No? Have I stumped you?
I wouldn't say you stumped me.
But you agree with me to some certain degree that he is not into the MLS.
Well, yeah. Well, I partially agree that he's not into it right now with Copa America coming up.
Yeah, well.
And all that.
I don't know. That's just my feeling on it. I could be wrong, but, you know, that is one of the things that I believe. I don't think he's into the MLS. I think he would be playing a lot more if he was into the MLS, along with some of his other teammates who came along with him, Busquets and Jordi Alba and the biter.
Luis Suarez.
I'm going to bite your ear off. I'm going to bite everything off your face. I don't know why that guy does that, but
he had some anger issues.
He does have some anger issues. So, but again, that is our segment on Messi and why I believe he is not into the MLS. So, by the way, who won that game between Vancouver and Miami?
I don't even know.
Can you look it up?
Sure.
And tell me?
Sure.
Because I would like to know what happened.
They won.
They won?
Yeah.
Okay.
2-1.
2-1. All right. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Man, I'm trying to find something here on my phone. But so they won 2-1. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da-da. All right. So we're gonna move on to our next segment. I'm trying to find something here on my phone. But I am not able to find it. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump to it, my friend. So our next segment is another one that we brought over from Spotify, which was one of our favorite segments, and that is This Day in Sports History. So why don't you take it away, my friend?
All right. Well, on this day in sports history, May 26, 1981,
Yep.
43 years ago now,
Mm-hmm.
Julius Erving of the Philadelphia 76ers becomes the only player to win the NBA and ABA history.
Really?
Yes.
All right. What is the ABA? Explain that.
That was basically the AFL. I guess if that makes sense, the basketball version of the AFL.
Yep. You had the ABA, and then you had.
They merged in the 1975 to 76 season.
Yep.
Julius Erving had won 3 championships and 4 MVPs before. So he was pretty much their big star in the ABA.
And the ABA, that's right.
And then he came over to the NBA and continued that success.
All right. So the year was
1981.
1981, May 26, 1981, and Julius Erving became the first man to
And only
man to win the MVP in the NBA and in the ABA.
Yes.
All right, so there you have it.
I'm going to be
That
completely
was
honest.
This Day in Sports History. I finally found it. There you go.
I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't even know the ABA even existed until I researched this.
Yeah. So there you have it. Julius Erving is the only man and only man to ever have won the MVP in the NBA and the ABA, which the ABA no longer exists.
Nope.
So nobody can ever do that anymore. So, all right, my friend. Good stuff. This Day in Sports History brought to you by the DOS Man. Okay. Are you ready for our next segment?
Sure.
All right. And this is one that I've been wanting to talk about since yesterday. So let's go to it. Creepy music.
What?
I like it. And the topic is, are sports curses real? Do you believe that sports curses are real?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. 100%.
All right. Okay. So do I. So I read something yesterday that was very interesting. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today. But let me give you some of the curses in sports that some of us know about, and then we can discuss a little bit. Cool? All right.
All right.
So I'm going to start with this. The curse of Rocky Colavito.
Rocky Colavito.
Rocky Colavito. Yep. He was a guy they played for back in the day, Cleveland Indians.
Ooh.
Who are now the Guardians. I hate the name. I still say they're the Indians to me. So apparently this curse is traced back to the unpopular trade that happened between the Cleveland Indians and the Detroit Tigers. And this involved one, Rocky Colavito for Harvey Kuhn in 1960. And it was said that Colavito placed the curse on the Indians himself. He said he didn't, but the curse believed to have stricken the city of Cleveland's major sports franchises for decades as they could not win a championship.
No.
And that is the curse.
Not until the Cavs won
Until the Cavs won.
the NBA in 2016.
Yep. But the Indians have not. They are
no other Cleveland team has won.
No other Cleveland team has won.
I wouldn't even necessarily. The closest any other team has gone was when Cleveland almost won the Drought World Series.
Yeah.
The Mega Drought World Series.
The Mega Drought World Series.
In which I found out they were up 3-1
Yep.
against the Cubs.
Yep. And that is a good segue to the next curse, which was the curse of the Billy Goat.
Yes. The longest curse in all of sports history. I would have to say.
for right now. For right now. So,
Yeah.
and it is up to right now. But the curse of the Billy Goat was supposed to is believed to have taken when in 1945 the owner of the Billy Goat Tavern in Chicago, William Cianis, was kicked out of the ball game the
Okay.
stadium. Him and his goat were kicked out of the stadium because the goat was bothering some of the people watching the game, so they kicked him out. And as he was being thrown out, he said, "Them Cubs, they ain't gonna win no more." And guess what? They didn't win for a long time.
Now, by then, they were already 30 years into their drought by then.
Right.
So,
You're talking about the World Series that was the Cubs versus the Cleveland Indians.
yes, I guess what you could consider the lowly World Series,
The lowly World Series. Yep.
which was won by the Cubs.
It was won by the Cubs in 7 games.
Yep, in extra innings.
In extra innings. So
You gotta feel for Cleveland.
yeah.
They had a chance to win the World Series.
Yeah.
They were right at the doorstep
Yep.
of completing their 60 year at the time
Yep.
drought. Now 70 years.
I mean, you were pulling for either one. You were pulling for either one.
yeah, because you were just
I was actually pulling more for the Cleveland Indians because the Cubs had taken out the
Dodgers.
that
Yeah. But it's
year.
okay. The Dodgers got revenge a year later, so
They did.
it worked
They did.
out.
So the curse of the Billy Goat, placed by one William Cianis, because he got kicked out of the stadium. Him and his Billy Goat. The Billy Goat's name, Murphy.
Murphy the Goat.
Murphy the Goat. So they got kicked out of the
Man.
stadium, and he said, "Them Cubs,
Yeah.
they ain't gonna win no
Now,
more."
while sports curses are real, in what I believe, I think the true question we should be asking, are sports blessings real? And what I mean by that is good omens.
Okay,
Perfect example of this going on right now. The Dallas Stars.
the Dallas Stars. Yes,
Every series,
Every
game
series.
one,
Game one lost.
the rest of the series, they win.
Yep. So
Yes. And
we're going after Lord Stanley's Cup.
yep. I would say I have this own little curse. I believe in myself,
What's that?
which it's kind of dumb. I believe that the day the 49ers won the Super Bowl by scoring 49 points was the last day they ever win the Super Bowl. And their last Super Bowl they won, 49 points scored.
Against the Chargers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I believe that is the last day they ever win the Super Bowl.
The curse of the 49.
Yeah, I like to call it the curse of the DOS man.
The curse of the Dotsman. Okay.
Yes. And
All
I'm
right.
officially proclaiming it now, 30 years after the Super Bowl happened.
Okay. All right.
So that's what I believe. So,
Right. Okay. So the other curse, the curse of the Bambino,
ooh, yes, this is probably the most famous.
the most
curse.
famous one. This is when the Boston Red Sox decided to trade Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees.
Yes.
And once that happened, the Red Sox could never win the World Series. And they got really close in 1986, but that was behind the bag Bill Buckner play.
Yep.
And the Mets came back and won that series in 7.
Man, I watched the whole video on that man's life after the World Series. He had to move to Idaho,
Yeah.
where no one knew who he was,
Yeah.
just to get away from all the people.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty sad. I mean, it's an unfortunate play. It's an unfortunate play, but it happened.
Yeah.
And so Bill Buckner behind the bag, famous call by one of our favorite all-time broadcasters, Vince Scully, was the man that called that. So the curse of the Bambino, the Red Sox,
Yes.
could not win the World Series until
2003.
2003.
And I believe that was the same year where they had the Red Sox comeback
They did.
against the Yankees
did.
in the ALCS.
That was when the Yankees were up 3-0. That was the David Ortiz home run in the extra innings that got the Sox going again, and they won 4 in a row.
Yep.
And then they went and they swept the St. Louis Cardinals to
Yep.
win their first World Series.
And that marked the beginning of their 21st century success they've had,
Yep.
which they've had a lot of success.
So up to this point, you have the Cubs and you have the Red Sox who have exercised those demons. So they have won. Cleveland is still not won. They're still looking for another championship.
They are doing kind of good at the start
Yeah.
of this year, though.
All
So
right.
maybe. I don't think
So,
it'll amount to anything, though, this
Well,
year.
we'll see. But brings me to my point of what I read yesterday and why I wanted to talk about, are sports curses real?
They
One,
are.
Bella Gutman, who was the manager of soccer club in Portugal, SL Benfica,
Ooh, Benfica.
back in the 1960s. And the story behind the curse is this. Bella Gutman had just won 2 consecutive UEFA championships, 1961 and 1962. And you know how hard it is to win championships.
Even one.
In the UEFA championship.
Yeah, even just one.
Just one is hard. So this man took Benfica and won back-to-back UEFA championships in 1961 and 62. He decided to walk into the owner's office and say, hey, I just won you 2 UEFA championships in a row. I believe I'll deserve a little pay raise. The man deserved a pay raise. I think he did. I mean, he did a good job.
1,000%.
1,000% deserved a raise.
Yeah.
You thought, you would think that the ownership would go, hey, you're doing a great job. 2 UEFA championships, we're going to give you a raise. Nope. They said, we ain't giving you a raise. Get out. And he was let go.
They got rid of him.
Because
he asked for a pay raise.
Because he asked for a raise. So, Bella Gutman, the belief is that when Bella Gutman walked out, he said, mark my words, Benfica will not win another UEFA championship for 100 years. So, we are 60 years in and they have not won.
Well, can't wait until 2062.
2061, whatever it was. So,
yeah.
I read this yesterday and I was like, wow. And so they got me to thinking,
well,
are these sports curses for real?
Maybe Portugal had a money crisis going on at the time.
They may have. But, I mean, I believe the guy deserved a raise.
Oh,
I mean, he won you 2 UEFA championships.
I can't believe they got rid of him because he asked for a little pay raise.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. That's what ownership does sometimes. So,
man,
read this yesterday. I thought it was interesting. I thought, hey, that'd be cool. Do a segment on, are sports curses real?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I think there is something to that. I mean, here, modern day, when Rayados built their new stadium, the belief is that the fans from Tigres are arch rival when they buried a dead chicken in the middle of that stadium somewhere.
That's a thing?
That's a thing.
How am I only hearing about this now?
And the belief was that Monterrey was not going to win a championship until they dug that chicken up.
Have they dug the chicken up?
They haven't found the chicken, but they've won a championship since then. But
multiple championships.
It was like 4 or 5 years that they were pretty dry. I was like, oh, so we got to find that chicken. We got to find that chicken. So.
I don't know. Maybe that curse has been restarted.
Well,
how
maybe,
how they've been these last few seasons.
Yeah.
Doo-doo at the end of the season.
Doo-doo at the end of the season.
Absolute doo-doo.
Yep. So the question is, from me to you, are sports curses real?
Yes.
I concur.
Yep.
Some people may think we're crazy, but I concur. I think sports curses are real.
What the heck?
I'm going to have to cut that segment out because we're going to get copyrighted. So, are sports curses for real? I believe so myself. I concur. So, I think that it is a thing. And I believe that the Cleveland Indians, I don't know. They're still dealing with the curse of Rocky Colavito.
Yeah.
So, yes, sports curses are for real.
Yep.
All right, my friends. So that was a segment that I wanted to talk about today. I enjoyed it. I think it was a good topic. But this brings us to our next thing. And this is another segment that we are bringing back from our Spotify days. So let's get to it right now, my friend. This is freestyle, where you get to talk about anything and everything you want to talk about.
Yes.
So the floor is yours, my friend.
Well, I got a few things I'm thinking of. Number one, the return of what is on my head right now.
I hate the bucket hat.
This thing
Mhm.
that I like a lot.
That thing, I know it's watched. How long will it be before it gets watched again? Because last year you wore that thing nonstop and it stunk. It was bad. And I kept telling your mom, you have got to get rid of that bucket hat, please.
Yeah.
You wore that thing everywhere. I
No.
mean, why do you wear that bucket hat? My
Because I got it from Dodger Stadium.
Well, one is you got it from that. You say because you got it from Dodger Stadium.
Yes.
My theory is you don't want to brush your hair.
No. Well, I don't brush my hair anymore. But no, I just because it reminds me of last summer when we went to the Father's Day game.
Yep.
And cool part about this cap, it's reversible.
It's reversible.
So once
But you always wear it on the gray side.
Yeah, because there's a like a company name on the other side of that, and this side, it's got both the primary and secondary logo on it.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
All right,
But
so the
that's
return
that.
of the bucket hat is back.
Which, by the way, until the end of the summer, I'm most likely going to be wearing this every episode. So yeah, and I'm probably going to keep wearing it every day.
Get ready, folks, to see that nasty thing every show. So
The only problem with is that the logo, I feel like it's a little high up. So it's always kind of annoying because I try to lower it, but then it covers my eyes.
right,
So look, you can't even see my eyes right now.
you could flip the front a little bit though.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Look at
But then it makes you look like one of the new kids on the block.
that.
Oh,
It just reminds me.
oh.
It reminds me of like the ultimate fisherman. So I just like to
The Gordon's fisherman.
Yeah. So that's
All right.
okay. So
All right.
that's
So the
first
bucket
thing.
hat's back.
So that's the first thing. Second thing, there was oh gosh, I forgot what this other thing was. Oh yeah. Is John Cena the undisputed WWE GOAT?
No,
Why would you say that?
because as much as I hate to say it, the guy that just lost it is probably the when it comes to undisputed, I would say that Roman Reigns is probably the GOAT.
Like, greatest of all time between
Now,
every generation. That's
I will say this. Listen, to me, you got to count championships.
yeah.
You got to count championships. But is championships, the amount of championships you won, certify you as the greatest of all time?
Or
I don't believe so.
yeah.
I don't believe so. I will give you exhibit number 1. Jim Brown. Jim Brown retired early. Could have had a lot more yards. A lot
Yeah.
more yards. Is Emmitt Smith the greatest of all time?
Maybe.
No. I'd like to think so because, I mean, all this stuff up here. I mean, Emmitt Smith's my favorite guy. But to me, the greatest running back of all time is Jim Brown. Greatest running back of all time is Jim Brown. So, championship-wise, Emmitt won more. Jim won some. Emmitt's got the all-time rushing record. Jim doesn't. But to me, the greatest running back of all time is Jim Brown. Now, the GOAT. You were talking about wrestling. John
Yes.
Cena.
Between of all time.
Of all time.
All 6, 7
All time.
decades they've had now.
If we are talking about championship reigns,
Yes. Now,
the greatest of all time should be one Bruno Sammartino. Am
yeah.
I right?
Yeah.
If we are counting championship reigns, Bruno Sammartino is the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
You will tell me he's not.
No, because
So who is the greatest of all time for you?
I don't know. See, this brings me to this. What matters more? The amount of championships you've won or how long you've held a championship for?
To me, what defines the greatest of all time is what have you done for the sport or whatever industry you're in that defines you as the greatest of all time. So, is John Cena the greatest of all time when you think in those terms?
Well, if you think of what year going by, I would have to say so. For what he's done, I remember when he first came in, that was when WWE, they were in this period right after Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock had both left, where Vince McMahon was looking for new talent. And John Cena said give him a chance and prove that he could do it. He did it. And he's like one of the most well-known wrestlers of all, like up to today. You go up to a non-wrestling fan, you ask them, hey, name a WWE wrestler. 90% of the time, they're going to say 3 people. They're going to say John Cena, The Undertaker, and Randy Orton.
Okay.
And John Cena, not only has he held, I only consider him to be the only one who's held 16 world championships. Because even though Ric Flair has also held 16 world championships, that was in WCW. And yes, while that is technically part of WWE now, I don't consider it to be.
Again, you define it by championships? Okay, I won't argue with you.
Yeah.
John Cena is the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
If you define it by something else, which is what has your contribution been to the sport or industry you've been in?
I think he's at the biggest contribution.
Okay.
Like
I've seen documentaries where even Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, has said, had Stone Cold not come along, WWE would have never gotten to the heights that it got to. So to me, I may be a little biased because he is my favorite wrestler of all time. I think that the greatest of all time is Stone Cold because of everything that he brought to the business.
Yeah.
Now, if you're speaking championship-wise, no, he's not even in the conversation. I mean, he only won what?
6.
6?
And the longest title reign he had was 60 days.
60 days, which tells you back in that day, and that's what I keep talking about. This whole deal with Roman Reigns holding the title for almost 3 years was
4
boring.
years.
4 years.
Well, you can imagine how hard it was when Bruno Sammartino held the title for 8 years.
Yeah, but wrestling wasn't what wrestling is now. Wrestling wasn't being televised back then.
Yeah, and
you went to a show and you watched these guys.
Yeah, and that's why I don't even consider him to be the greatest, because that was in a whole different period. I didn't there wasn't really anyone you knew back then.
Yeah,
besides him and superstar Billy Graham.
Yep.
And
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Well, Hulk Hogan was after Bruno Sammartino. That was right as WWE started to get popular.
Right.
But there's only 2 or 3 guys you knew back then.
So
if you were one of the select few that watched wrestling.
Is John Cena a bigger name than Hulk Hogan?
Yes. To the people today, I would have to say so.
Okay.
But back then, even when John Cena was getting his start, the conversation was just Hulk Hogan. It was I think back then it was who is the bigger star between Hulk Hogan and The Rock and Stone Cold before John Cena came in with the Ruthless Aggression era.
Okay.
Yeah, I think today people remember John Cena more than they're going to remember anyone else.
Okay.
And that's also because of with a little bit of help of his Hollywood fame too.
Okay.
But that's just what I think. I just think he's the greatest ever. WWE considers him to be the greatest ever.
Okay.
In WWE 2K24, the new game, I played it recently. I had a match with John Cena in it. The announcer announced him as the greatest of all time. And in real life, I remember when John Cena teamed up with the Awesome Truth about a month ago, where it was the Raw after WrestleMania or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Cole, I believe, or was it Michael Cole or Corey Graves, one of the two, said the greatest of all time is here.
Okay.
So I think he's the greatest. I think WWE considers him to be the greatest. I think if you go up to a random person, ask, hey, name a WWE wrestler, 90% of the time they're going to tell you John Cena.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think he's the greatest.
Okay.
Because of his contributions in and out of wrestling.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying that John Cena hasn't had a great, huge impact on WWE. We both have our opinions. You say that John Cena is the GOAT. I say that Stone Cold is the GOAT. The Rock could be in that conversation.
Yeah.
So could be The Undertaker.
Even now, Roman Reigns is starting to get into that conversation.
Right.
I would have to say so.
Yeah. So, okay. So, all right. Well, I mean, John Cena to you is the greatest of all time. So, okay.
Yeah.
That's your opinion.
Yeah. And then that was that second thing. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about today was I think I mentioned this back in like the beginning of April or something like that, as both the NHL and NBA playoffs were starting. I was thinking that if like the Stars and the Mavericks made it to the finals, that we could maybe live stream those games.
Okay. You're talking about 7 games potentially on both sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, why not? It'd
All
be
right.
fun.
Well, I mean, we need to do some more live streaming, and that's fine.
We've done one.
I don't know that we can do all the
I don't
games.
know. But maybe, like, if it starts to get close, like when later in the series,
Right.
when it's like game 4, game 5,
Right.
all that.
Yeah.
But I really want to live stream
Okay.
if both teams make it to their respective finals.
Okay. All right, we can do that. Definitely talk about that. So, all right, man. Well, that brings us to the end of our show for today. We hope you guys enjoyed it as we enjoyed bringing it to you. And as always, you are my pride and joy, and I love you. And this is Bloodline Sports. It's all relative.
Goodbye, everyone.